जर्नी सवारी देखनी चाहिए।
Picture this. You're rolling down the runway, ready for takeoff, and bam, someone yanks the gas. Not a bird strike, not a systems failure, an intentional fuel cutoff just seconds after liftoff. That's what just dropped in the preliminary Air India Flight 171 report after a Boeing 787 hurtled into a medical college in Ahmedabad, killing over 260 people and leaving only one miracle survivor. Today, we're tearing into the jaw-dropping details, the cockpit confusion, and exactly how a simple switch may have turned a Dreamliner into a horror show. Stay sharp. June 12th, 2025. Air India Flight 171 departs Ahmedabad, bound for London Gatwick. On board, 242 souls, 230 passengers, 12 crew. 32 seconds after takeoff, the engines lose thrust. The jet descends, slams into a medical college block. Result, 241 aboard died, plus 19 on the ground. 260 lives lost. One man, Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, walks away the lone survivor. His brother, tragically not as lucky. So, what on earth killed the engines? Spoiler, it wasn't rain, birds, or adrenaline. Let's go to the cockpit audio. The preliminary report states, both fuel cutoff switches were flipped within 3 seconds of takeoff. Those aren't dinky toggles, they're bulky, guarded, physical switches for shutting engines down on the ground. Cockpit audio captures confusion. One pilot asks why the cutoff happened, the other denies it. Then, Mayday. Engines sputter, descent, crash. It's like starting your morning coffee by unplugging the machine mid-brew. Except here, it's life and death. Alright, crew confusion is one thing, but could there have been a cold, dark motive behind it? Experts are already asking. Pilot error or something more sinister? This wasn't a rookie crew. The captain had over 15,600 hours. The first officer, 3,400. Together about 19,000 hours. So, did they accidentally hit the wrong lever during a checklist? Or was it a freak glitch throwing off the switch? Mechanical failure? Or the unthinkable, intentional action, even pilot-caused suicide, as one expert ominously flagged? Either way, no legit emergency was reported that justified shutting the engines down. But if the pilots didn't flip it, could the plane have done it? Let's talk about rogue switches. Investigators are now scrutinizing whether the switch moved on its own thanks to vibration, electrical glitch, or design flaw. But let's face it, these switches are deliberately bulky, guarded to avoid accidental activation. Meaning, if they moved without human intent, that's a pandemic-level design flaw. Meanwhile, cockpit procedures, training regimens, both are under the microscope now. Why didn't the crew catch their own mistake faster? Why wasn't there an alarm shouting, "Hey, you just cut fuel"? Now, I could sit here and give you theories all day, but you know what's better? Hearing from someone who's actually flown a commercial jet. Let's bring in a seasoned airline pilot to weigh in.
We looked around and we went, oh, sorry, and we put the switch back on. That's not how these work. This is a switch that requires manipulation. You have to grab it with both fingers. It has a detent that holds it into the run position. So let's say we're going from cutoff to run. It's a spring-loaded switch, so we have to grab it, grasp it, pull it out, pull it up, and release it over the detents. That's how it goes to the run position, and then it stays there for the duration of the flight, unless, of course, there's an engine failure and you need to bring it back to the cutoff position. But taking it from run to cutoff is also that same three-step procedure. You have to grasp it, pull it up over the detent, pull it down, and release it because it's spring-loaded to the cutoff position. At that point, when it's in the cutoff position, it will command the fuel valves at the engines to close. That'll cut off fuel to the engines, and the engines will then flame out at that point. The only way that that can be done is by a human being grabbing those fuel control switches and placing them in that position. There is no procedure, and there never has been any procedure or any mistake that's possible that those fuel control switches would be placed from run to cut off just after rotate on an aircraft. There just isn't. So that's the what of it all, and that's basically kind of the how of it all. According to these very reputable sources, that's exactly what happened. So now, with that being said, it takes us to another area that's very difficult for us to deal with, and that's the area of why would something like this take place? And we may never have an answer to that. To be quite honest with you, never have an answer to that. But we do need to delve into that because I think it's hugely important, and it's a big question that's sitting out there that at least we need to try to attempt to answer.
That was blunt. That was real. And that's exactly why we need experienced voices leading this conversation, not just PR departments. So what comes next? The AAIB, with help from US and UK experts, and even Boeing and GE, has both black boxes and the full cockpit audio. India's DGCA has grounded Boeing 787s for additional fuel system checks. Meanwhile, Air India has sacked crew scheduling officials over safety lapses. Families, survivors, and aviation watchdogs aren't buying vague statements. They demand full transparency and real accountability. Here's the bottom line. Every flight counts on trust. That cockpit levers work reliably, that pilots are accountable, and that systems are bulletproof. If that trust gets shaken, millions of passengers will ask, what else didn't I know? Stay informed, stay curious, and if you're into deep dives with clarity, color, and a kick, subscribe to Next Narrative Network. We cut through the noise so you don't have to. For now, that's all, folks. See you on the other side of the narrative.